Okay, fantastic. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the BNI Now show. We're coming to you live from the NowMedia studios here located in West Chase, Texas. My name, your host, Alberto Tudela. I am a BNI member. I've been part of a BNI leadership team. I've helped launch BNI chapters in the past. And I'm also, of course, a small business owner. I'm the owner of Tudela Insurance Solutions, a small all-state agency and growing. So thanks so much for being with us. This is a show that's dedicated basically to BNI. BNI is the largest networking group in the world. We're talking about an organization that globally has over 275,000 members, over 10,000 chapters, and over $16 billion that basically has been generated by different BNI members around the world. Here in Houston, we're talking a little bit more locally, 54 chapters, over 1,200 members, and growing every day. So there's some exciting news that I have to share with you regarding BNI and the BNI world that's just come to my attention. First of all, big shout out and congratulations to one of our near and dear friends. He's a BNI launch director, actually national, I believe area launch director now, overseeing several different states. My good friend Rick Gutierrez. Rick, if you're watching, this one's for you. All your work is starting to pay off. Rick and his launch directors have some great news. They're basically launching 2 brand new BNI chapters next week. Okay, these are going to be the first virtual chapters in Texas. One of them is going to be launching here locally in Houston, and the other one will be launching in Austin. These are virtual chapters, which is sort of a brand new world really related to BNI. Of course, we've all gotten used to sort of being in a virtual environment. All BNI chapters currently meet via Zoom because of the pandemic and everything that we've had to deal with over the last, little over a year now. Of course, we see things changing, and we'll talk a little bit more about how they're changing and how BNI is starting to adapt to the new reality relating to the vaccines and the opening and loosening of restrictions. But for the moment, Zoom is still the norm. Okay, these chapters, unlike others, are never going to be meant to meet in person. These chapters were born online, and they're going to live online forever. Of course, there may be some events that they might do here and there, especially once things go, loosen even more and people are more comfortable being in person. But this is really sort of a seminal moment. We're talking about virtual chapters now. These, the floodgates have opened, and as far as this type of technology is concerned, this way of doing business, we've all had to sort of adapt and come to a new realization that this is a new world that we live in, and we all need to move forward. We all need to continue to, operate our businesses. We need to continue to try to basically survive and grow and thrive throughout this whole pandemic and everything that comes along with it. And we've been able to do that through Zoom. So congratulations there, Rick. That's 2 new chapters, one here in Houston, one in Austin, both virtual. And then the last thing is that there's actually going to be an additional chapter that's going to be launching as well in person, also in Austin, Texas. So that's 3 new chapters in less than 2 weeks. That's fantastic news. Just goes to show you when you have something that works, it sells itself. On another note, and also to sort of close this segment, I also want to notify everybody that some BNI chapters have actually taken the step to starting to go back to in-person meetings. It hasn't actually happened yet. There's a process that needs to take place in order for that to occur. Of course, everybody has to be in agreement. There still has to be the possibility of keeping people that are still not comfortable meeting in person to have them have the option to be still online via Zoom. But as long as the whole chapter comes together and agrees, and there is a space for those people that prefer to keep themselves virtually and keep themselves safe, then that is moving forward. Our chapter, as a matter of fact, to BNI Latino, is going to be apparently one of the first to do that. We do have plans on going to in-person on the 27th of this month, if everything goes perfectly, which is a big if. But we look forward to it. We look forward to it. Of course, we're going to keep those standards in place, social distancing, making sure that we're being safe and respectful of other people's safety and security, and always trying to, of course, keep at bay any kind of exposures related to COVID-19. So that's basically everything that's happening with BNI. I know it's quite a bit. It's a little bit outside of what we normally do on the show, but it's also interesting to keep in mind of everything that's been going on and all of the different changes that we're starting to deal with. We'll be back with our regular programming, let's say. We'll have our guests. We have 3 guests today, some fantastic people that I look forward to introducing you to. Therefore, stay in touch, stay online with us. If you're watching us, maybe live here on 21.10 Houston or 27.10 Beaumont, also some news regarding NowMedia. We have some new channels that are going to be added to the open air frequencies that we now have available. So we'll be expanding, I believe, to, let's say, Lake Charles, Louisiana. We're also going to be doing Bryan, College Station, as well as Tyler. So that's going to take the TV channel total to 6 here in the coming months. So congratulations to NowMedia as well. Thanks for everything you guys do. Thanks for making me look good. And we'll be back with you in just shortly.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio, y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
¿Tiene problemas en el techo de su casa? En Texas Gold Roofing and More le hacemos inspecciones gratis. El estado de Texas ha experimentado en recientes fechas y de manera constante clima severo que incluye huracanes, tormentas tropicales, fuertes vientos, granizo, y todos estos elementos echan a perder el techo de su casa. Estos daños rara vez son aparentes hasta que es tarde, generando deterioros serios en su propiedad por filtración de agua. Su techo es la seguridad de su propiedad, ya que protege lo que más le importa. Texas Gold Roofing and More es la solución especializada para la inspección, instalación, restauración y mantenimiento de techos y canaletas. Además de construcción, reparación de cercas, también realizamos trabajos de carpintería para reparar o restaurar daños internos en su propiedad, y le damos asesoría de ventilación. Nuestros servicios en Texas también están dirigidos a viviendas multifamiliares y asociaciones de comunidades residenciales. Texas Gold Roofing and More ofrece inspecciones gratis para determinar no solo el estado del techo de su casa, sino verificar si está cubierto por su seguro de propiedad. Además, ofrecemos asesoría gratis en todo el proceso de los reclamos al seguro o si tiene reclamos previos negados. Texas Gold Roofing and More cuenta con un equipo eficiente, responsable, bilingüe y con amplia experiencia, y tenemos la certificación GAF de propiedad local en Houston, además de ser una empresa ampliamente acreditada por el Better Business Bureau, que garantiza certeza, seguridad y confianza a todos nuestros clientes para su tranquilidad. Tome la mejor decisión. Llame hoy a Texas Gold Roofing and More al 281-746-1951 para coordinar su inspección gratis.
Back, here we are. We're still live here, BNI Now. Thank you for joining us once again. We have our first member now coming with us here. We're pleased to introduce Jennifer Solak. Is that right? Solak?
That's exactly right.
Or is it Solak? I'm not sure.
I say Solak.
Solak. Okay. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. Jennifer's an attorney. Okay. And Jennifer has a chair, right? Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about which chair you participate in BNI.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have the estate planning and probate chair in BNI Synergy.
BNI Synergy, that actually was my old
Chapter?
group. I was a
Okay.
member of that chapter way back when. So hello to all my friends over there at BNI Synergy. Done a great job, as a matter of fact. I know that they've grown significantly during the pandemic. I think they, at the beginning, there were 18, 19 members, and now there's 27, 28.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
growing. It's a great group.
Yeah, congratulations to everybody that's putting in some good work over there. So estate planning, probate, and succession. I've always had some interesting questions about,
Okay.
especially about probate.
Sure.
So what is probate?
Probate, that's a great question. So probate is the general umbrella term that is used for the court process that's used to help people transfer title to, anything that they might own in their name when they're no longer here to provide their signature. Most typically that's because of death, but sometimes it's because of incapacity, and so
Okay.
then you might need a guardian appointed of you, and probate is used for all of those things.
So probate, of course, that's by the court, right? I mean, by definition, it's basically you're being assigned, what is it, a judge that makes that
Yes.
decision? And because of the fact that maybe you did not set up everything prior to this being necessary, the judge gets to decide how these are going to be, I guess, distributed, or who's going to be responsible for it?
Exactly. Well, probate's going to be required if you have a will or if you don't have a will.
Okay, so both cases, it's required anyways.
Yes,
I
so
see.
there are ways to avoid probate before death, so that requires other types of planning. But if you do have a will, you'll still have to go through probate. The judge will approve your will if everything looks like it should and nobody's complaining about it. And then in that case, your instructions are followed. And then if you didn't have a will, your family has to go to probate court and prove to the judge that they're your family, and then the Texas plan takes effect.
The Texas plan.
Right.
That sounds a little ominous, to be honest with you.
Yes, so if you don't take the steps to leave your own instructions in a will before you pass away, Texas has its own plan, and so
Well, how nice of them to have their own
yes, they
plan.
do. So, the Texas plan might work for you, but it might not, so it's important to kind of find out what that is when you have the chance.
So the important thing, obviously, being here is make sure you have a will. I
Right.
guess first and foremost, right?
yes.
And that's exactly what you provide us through your estate law, right?
exactly.
So tell me about the main thing that you take care of during a process with the client. Let's say somebody comes to you, say they're in their 40. What's your typical client, first of all? Is it somebody that's already, middle-aged, past middle-aged? Is it somebody younger? Does it vary?
Well, it does vary. There's a wide range of clients. I would say that whenever there is a major life event, that's kind of the time to start thinking about creating a plan. Maybe you got married, maybe you had a baby, maybe you got divorced, maybe you're retired or your kids are grown up. Those are kind of the typical times, I think, when people start thinking about putting a new plan in place.
Okay.
Much of what we talk about are your family dynamics. You can educate me about what that is, what your assets are, what businesses you own, and then I can kind of let you know how the law is going to affect those families' assets. When you own a business, I think it's really important to have a succession plan in place. And, maybe that's through your will, but maybe it's through the operating agreement of your company. But it's important to think about what's going to happen to your business if you become incapacitated
Right.
or if you pass away.
So succession plans would basically be who's going to run the business if the main operator, I guess, or the owner is no longer able to do so, right?
Exactly.
And so you said either through a will, right, or through the actual, I guess, operations of the operational documents of the company. Can you help with both of those?
I can, absolutely. So I think it's important for business owners to, I like to say, have their lift systems in place. So legal, insurance, financial, and tax. I think legal is the foundation, and I can definitely advise you as to who are some other great choices for, insurance, financial, and tax.
Right, and I'm sure that a lot of them are BNI members. That's exactly what I mean.
Absolutely.
So for you, being part of an organization that'll typically have all of those other cogs in place, and those people that you're going to see every week, I assume that's got to be pretty important. Have you found that have you been able to make better relationships with those important cogs of people that you're always going to bring into most clients? Or did you already have something set up and this is just now basically an improvement on that?
No, BNI has been invaluable in that regard. I've connected with so many great professionals who all have specific niches and specific people that they're able to help. And so it allows me to provide so much more value for my clients, because when they come to me with a specific issue, I've got the person for them.
Right, right. Yeah, that's one of the great things. I mean, a lot of people don't take into account, when you're looking at BNI, of course, everybody thinks, well, I'm making a business decision, right? This is the best thing for me because it's going to help me grow my business, or I'm going to be able to double my sales, or I'm going to be able to be more effective maybe with the type of referrals that I get. But at the end of the day, it's not just about that. It's also about how you help your clients through other people, right? Through other services that most of your clients need. In your particular case, you seem to be, you're a gateway, frankly. I'm assuming that you're probably a very valuable member of your BNI group. How long have you been a member of Synergy?
I'm just coming up on my year anniversary.
Oh, 1 year. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm a newbie.
Are you going to be renewing? I assume you're going to be renewing?
Sure.
Okay. And what's the experience for you been like in BNI?
Well, it's been great. I've gotten to learn, I've gotten to meet not only so many other great people, but I've gotten to learn about other professions and how they're able to help people. And so it's been great. And we're located in the Heights area of Houston, but a lot of our members serve clients throughout the metro area. And so it allows me to, pinpoint people in specific areas that can help others.
Has it? So let me ask. That's another question I like to ask BNI members. And you being here for a year, right? So you've gone through the visibility, credibility, all that
Right.
stage. What's been your best referral? So without being specific about it, but have you gotten a great referral from BNI members?
I have, and I think, the referrals that I have received have turned into other referrals, for like-minded groups of people, and I think BNI has really opened that gateway for me in a way that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So.
Right. Okay. Well, and then on another note, so wills, we talked a little bit about that, right?
Yeah.
It's important to set one up. You mentioned life changes. Of course, let's say somebody through the course of their life has several, let's say they create a will. Let's say you get married, you create a will. Do you need to do anything more after, so you're in your 30s, you don't touch that will, you don't do anything with it. Are you supposed to keep it up to date? Are you supposed to make adjustments? Do you want to check in on that will and sort of make sure everything's up to date on that? How often do you really need to check in on your will and make sure it's up to date?
So that's a really good question. I say every 3 to 5 years, it's time to just look at it again. Is this still what I want? And maybe it is, and so you don't have to look at it for a while. But
and that's something that you do, I assume, with your
I reach out
attorney,
to my
of
clients.
course.
Exactly. Another good time to consider updating is if the law changes. And so, the law does change as Congress makes new decisions. So,
Yes.
So we
Have there been any changes recently? Let me ask you that. So I'm assuming, of course, a lot of them are with changes in politics,
Yes,
which we're
yes.
currently going through right now. Normally, there's changes in law and certainly changes related to taxes and things like that. And
Sure.
of course, everybody talks about that tax and
Yeah.
estate tax and that kind of thing. Is there anything that's changed since, let's say, we've had the new president in force?
Sure. Well, I'll say, so last year there was a big change with the Secure Act that came in, and that really changed the way people are able to inherit retirement accounts. So previously, if somebody inherited a retirement account, they were able to stretch those benefits over the remainder of the beneficiary's lifetime, which really allowed you to continue those tax-free savings and not be hit with a large income tax
That's in the event that
liability.
they're still alive but incapacitated?
Well, like let's say if a son inherited the retirement account from his father and
I
he's
see.
40, he could stretch that out over whatever the remainder of his life is likely to be. So let's say that's another 40 years or so.
Okay.
The law changed that last year, and so with some exceptions for spouses, disabled individuals, everybody else now has to inherit accounts within 10 years. And so depending upon the size of that account, that can be a pretty significant income tax hit, and then Congress is able to get more of their tax money back. So, but something to look out for in the future, I think, with the new administration is right now the estate tax exemption is $11.5 million. So people can pass $11.5 million without having to pay estate tax. And unfortunately, most people
But you
don't
have
have
to
that
have an
problem.
estate,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
I mean, so listen, people, it's important. You know, if
Yeah.
you don't have an estate, what is the tax impact?
Well, so right now, most people are under that, but soon it might change to 3.5 million or 5, and that's going to affect more of middle America.
Okay, so if you're under 3.5, then there's
Tax-free coupon.
Tax-free.
Estate
okay.
tax.
Estate
Other
tax.
taxes to think about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you get an estate tax whether or not you've actually created an estate or not. I mean, there's a vehicle in which you can create an estate, right?
Well, so the estate is all of the assets that make up what you own when you pass away. And you'll have to file that on your tax return, your
I
last tax
understand.
return.
Okay. Now, estate planning.
Right.
So estate planning is obviously the process by which you're trying to make it most effective or minimize the impact on taxes.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
And what typically are the vehicles that you use to get to that point?
Sure. Well, there's some trust vehicles that you can use after you pass away. Spouses have the ability to pass their estate tax exemption to the surviving spouse, and so there's some trust planning that we can do on the first spouse to pass so that your family can elect how they want to take that tax savings. And so those are decisions that are made after somebody passes away, but we can set up the structure for that to happen when it needs to.
Okay. And then you also mentioned that you do a little bit of business law, right?
Yeah.
Talk about maybe what ideally is your perfect client for business? Are we talking about incorporations of new companies more than anything else, or existing companies? What's the ideal client for you on that end?
You know, I love helping people with contract review. I think that comes up a lot. I think you always need to be sure what you're signing before you sign it, and you know, it's helpful just to have a quick legal review to kind of spot some issues that maybe you haven't dealt with before, but we've seen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I can also help with, you know, company formation or setting up operational documents and those sorts of things too.
So I've always heard also setting up a company is very important to choose the right type of entity.
Exactly.
As that makes a big difference on how you pay your taxes and how you have it set up. What are the major choices that most people have as far as how they set up a company? And if they already have an existing one and they haven't gotten a point of view from an attorney, okay, that can actually help them set it up more efficiently or more effectively, what would be the process to do that?
I love the LLC. I think it's a great choice. It provides a lot of asset and liability protection, and you can be flexible in how you want to be taxed with that company. So that's, I think, my first choice. Typically, if you plan to do some international work eventually, then you might want to be set up as an Inc. and a corporation.
Okay. What's your typical process for bringing on a client? Is there an initial consultation? How does your intake process go? So if I'm somebody that's interested in maybe reviewing some documents with you, let's say I want to take a look at my will and talk about my family structure and what I want to leave behind and how I want to leave it behind, what would be the process?
Well, the easiest way is I have a link on my website on the contact page where you can book directly on my calendar for a free call, and then we can talk about what your needs are and you know, whether it's a business need or an estate planning need or a probate need, and we can talk about the next steps there.
Okay, and where would be what's the name of the website?
It's solaklegal.com.
So that's Solak, S-O-L-A-K, right? S-O-L-A-K, legal.com. What about any other way that they can reach out to you? Have an email or phone number that you might want to bring out there?
Phone number is 713-588-5744, and my email is jennifer@solaklegal.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
Is there anything else you want to say? Oh, considering what's going on right now with the pandemic,
Yeah.
and I understand that a lot of these things have to be done in person, right? So there's an
Right.
actual signature that you have to probably notarize, I would think, right?
And two witnesses,
How
yeah.
do you deal with that situation, taking into account what's been going on recently?
So what we've been doing, during the pandemic is, obviously everybody wears their masks. We've already reviewed the documents remotely in advance, so we don't, there's no questions. Everybody just stands 6 feet apart and comes up to the table when it's their turn to sign, and
Everybody has their own pens.
yeah, everybody has their own pens. We've got hand sanitizer. We're taking care of everybody.
All right, so they're basically set to deal with you and help you out in the safest way possible. If you need any estate planning or want to take care of your will or have something related to company formation, it's a great choice, obviously. Thank you so much for being with us, Jennifer. We look forward to having you back at some point in the future.
Thank you.
And have a great rest of your day. In the meantime, we're going to have a quick break. We'll be back with our next guest, which is Shannon Harris. Everybody should know that name if you're part of BNI. I'll tell you a little bit more about why when we come back. Thanks, and see you in a little bit.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio, y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
As a critical aspect of your operations, you need the right technology partner to provide you and your business the peace of mind of having reliable and efficient IT systems. In addition, with cyber threats, ransomware at an all-time high, adequate, continuous, and proactive data protection for your business is an absolute must. Hi, this is Roland Parker with Impress Computer Solutions. We are experts in tailored IT solutions and professional 24/7 IT support services. We proactively monitor, maintain, manage, and protect your IT and data assets. Additionally, we have the know-how and horsepower to do the correct procuring of any and all computer systems or software your company may need. Having the correct IT infrastructure and not being able to operate safely and correctly is very expensive and can eventually destroy growth. So take a decisive step and call me today for a complimentary consultation at 281-647-9977 for your unique IT needs.
Having a spotless house is critical for your quality of living. Hi, this is Kevin Thury with WashPros.us. At WashPros, we are locally owned and operated, servicing Central Houston, Austin, and Dallas. We are fully insured. We offer annual, semi-annual, and quarterly cleanings. We recognize that needs change and Mother Nature keeps us on our toes. Just know we are happy to help. We use eco-friendly products and a purified water cleaning system for a spotless shine. We service HOAs, the property managers, investment firms, and you, the homeowner. If you're putting your house on the market or have an annual maintenance cleaning schedule, or you are interested in holiday lighting, we are your one-stop shop for all of your exterior cleaning and holiday lighting needs. Call me today for your free on-site quote and let WashPros.us be your clean escape.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Next guest we have is somebody that if you are a BNI member, you probably receive an email from her once a week at the very, very least. Welcome here to Shannon Harris. Shannon, are you with us? We're on Zoom, so can you hear me? I can see you. There you go. I can hear you now. How are you doing, Shannon? It's finally great to put a face to the name. I get so many emails from you every week, obviously in relation to... Are you there?
I'm here.
Right.
I think there's a delay.
I got you now. How's that? All right. We're good. We're live. We're in person. Well, not in person. We're on Zoom, but it seems to be working now. So Shannon, tell us all about everything that you do in your position in BNI.
Well, I'm a support director, so I'm a chapter member of BNI Unlimited, which I love our group, but I also am a support director for Dream Builders chapter that meets in the Woodlands. And so I support them. And then my favorite thing that I do is I lead our speed networking group every Tuesday at 11 a.m. And then I also help manage and run our BNI Houston West Facebook group. So I do a lot of behind the scenes work there. And I love the speed networking and the Facebook group because we really make some great connections, build a lot of relationships, and pass a lot of business.
No doubt. I've seen that Facebook group in action, and I'm obviously a member of that group, and I participate quite a bit in that Facebook group. And there's a lot of great business that gets passed through that, among and beyond your regular, referral notifications through your chapter members. Obviously when you don't have anybody that you can think of or anybody that maybe even, it's a great place to post, random needs, right? I've seen a lot of different things come up on Facebook, and I've seen a lot of different members actually get a great benefit from being able to post those needs on there and actually close business through other chapters that way as well. How many members do we have on that Facebook group right now?
I think it's a great thing to have in your back pocket for sure, because if you're out talking to somebody and you hear of a need, then you can quickly pull up that Facebook group and post, and in a few minutes normally you get quite a good response. So we have over 1,000 members in that Facebook group.
So what's the actual name of the Facebook group? So if there's any members watching us right now, maybe you're new, maybe you didn't realize that there was a Facebook group. What's the name of the group? And I assume it's a closed group, right?
It is a closed group. You have to be approved, and it's called BNI Houston West Region Members Only. Please, when you request to join, put your chapter name, because it does slow down the process of getting approved if you don't put that in there. And that particular Facebook group is for the Houston West area chapters. So that's the other qualification. But it's a great group. It's an active group, and I'm proud to represent it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. You've probably grown it. I'm sure you've grown it quite a bit. If you're a BNI member and you're not in that Facebook group, like I said, there's a lot of great things that happen in that group. A lot of opportunities for business. A lot of opportunities for you to also highlight what you do, and you can post, videos and things of that nature. So, highly recommend it. If you're not already there, go ahead and look for it. Facebook. BNI Houston West, and ask our administrator there for safe passage through. Other than that, support directors. I've always been a little bit interested also in support directors and sort of what they do for BNI and the structure and everything else. Can you tell us a little bit about what your responsibilities are as a support director for BNI?
Yeah, so as a support director, I had to become a support director to be eligible to run our speed networking. So that's how that came about for me. But as a support director, I lead the chapter. So I meet with the leadership team every week for 30 minutes to 1 hour for the chapters that I support. And I guide them and help keep them on track, answer questions, bring in new ideas. And I'm there to support them in growing their chapter and working through issues that they may have and finding new and innovative things to do within their chapter. So, I kind of am their support, basically, is what I do. So I'm there to support them in whatever ways they need. And then I also have to attend their chapter meeting every so often and give them feedback on that and figure out what's going well and what could use improvement and those kind of things.
So you're basically like quality control, right? So BNI, so keep in mind for people that are not BNI members, we're talking about an organization that has an infrastructure. We're not just talking about a formula that's being applied here and that every chapter is individual. No, there's actual BNI representatives that are assigned to each chapter to make sure that they're functioning properly, that they're following the rules, that they're taking care of our members, that we're making sure that everybody's getting the most out of their BNI membership as possible, right? So within all of those responsibilities that you have, what have you found to be the most fun one for you, Shannon?
Oh, speed networking is my heart. I look forward to that Tuesday at 11 a.m. every week. So I show up and I lead our members. We usually have between 60 to 70 members on the speed networking call, and we get to speed through. You get 2 people in a room, you get to have a quick introduction, and then we move on to the next one. And hopefully the goal is to meet 7 new people each week, and then use that to follow up. And so I think between the Facebook group and the speed networking, my goal was to bring an added member value to our BNI members. So our membership cost didn't go up, but we were able to bring this value to our members. And I think it's been hugely successful. And on top of it, not only do you get to meet 7 people, but you get a CEU credit for it. So that's a continuing education credit that you get to get every week. So it's a great, great use of your time. And we have many people that are on every single week. And so we're really building those relationships and those connections. And it's been quite fun.
Well, I have to admit that I have not participated in the speed networking. You can make sure that next Tuesday I'm going to be there to check it out and see what it's all about. I've heard about it. I know people that have been on it and they've had great things to say. Tell us a little bit more about how, so when did this idea come to mind? I mean, when did you actually implement this within this is a BNI West only, correct? Houston West?
Well, we have other people. So it's Houston wide. So the whole Houston area, west and east, but it also encompasses Dallas is able to participate. But we have people that join us from other places. Not that I market to them, but somehow they get the information. And so I had, right before the pandemic started, I had attended a live and in-person speed networking, and I thought it was just the coolest thing. And so after the pandemic began and we all were on Zoom, of course, we couldn't do that live and in-person speed networking. And so I brought the idea to the core region, to the leaders at B, and I was like begging to do speed networking in our local area. I didn't realize that they were already starting a national speed networking. So anyway, long story short, I had to go through and become a support director. And then finally in July of last year, we were able to launch our first speed networking. And the original idea was to do it once a month, but we had such a success with it and everybody loved it so much. We've now made it, it's a weekly event every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Well, one of the things I love about that story is the fact that it was, first of all, the speed networking then started during the pandemic. We were already not doing in-person meetings at that point. Everything was being done via Zoom. And I love to, it's almost like that saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And I think it's such a perfect timing that you had by adding that speed networking online through Zoom during this whole situation where we were all sort of segmented or separated out from people we normally see and participate with every week. And even though we do it, it did limit us from participating with other groups, and that sort of interspersal that normally happens in BNI when you go visit another group and another chapter, and you're subjected to another 20 or 30 new members that maybe you didn't know. During this situation with Zoom, I would have thought that it would have been even more difficult, but it's actually been quite the opposite. I've seen a lot more BNI members in our meetings now than I ever did in the past. So congrats to you on that idea. Tell me a little bit more about how it actually works. So what are the, when you get on there, how do you actually meet another 7 people?
So I definitely think that this is a benefit that has come, something positive that's come out of the pandemic, is the whole Zoom and being able to visit other chapters. But even when you visit another chapter, you're just 1 in maybe 30. And so unless you go back regularly, which we can't really do, you don't really build those relationships. So what we do in speed networking is we do breakout rooms, and they're random breakout rooms, and they last about 6 minutes. So there's 2 to 3 people in a breakout room. Each member gets about 2.5 minutes to talk. And then I pop a switch up on the screen that gives them a clue that it's time to give the next person a chance to introduce themselves. And then we do a fun question, which gives you a cue that you've got about 60 seconds to wrap it up. So it's literally just enough time to state your name, your business, a value that you bring, and a good referral for yourself. And then it's time to the next person, do that wrap-up question, boom, you're back out into the big room, and then we do it all over again. And we do that as many times as we can in that 1 hour. So,
and normally how many times is that? Are we talking about 3 times or 4 different breakout rooms?
We get 7 times. We're very
7
consistent.
times, wow.
7 times. So you get to meet 7 people in that hour. And then I take the list of everybody that registered, and I send that out to everybody so they have those emails to do their follow-ups, to then book a true one-to-one to get to know those people if they made a connection.
Great. And what about how many people are participating in these sessions every week, give or take?
We have about 60 to 70 every week.
Wow, 60 to 70. That is quite a good number. I mean, and we've got maybe 1,200 members. So 60 is a pretty important number. Well, you'll have 61 next week, no doubt. I'll be there, and I'll make sure to pass this along also to the other members of my chapter so that they can take advantage of this great tool. Once again, another great value-added thing that BNI is doing for their members. As a member as well, I want to take advantage of this as well and make sure that you get out there what chair you have in your chapter and what business do you have.
Yeah. So it's not category exclusive. That's the other thing. But you do have to be a BNI member to attend the speed networking. It is an added value for our members and a member-only event. So that's the real only qualification.
Right. But what about you, your business, and what chair do you have in your chapter, Shannon?
So I hold the digital marketing chair. So I own Shannon's Digital Solutions, and I help individuals and businesses preserve, share, organize, and save their digital assets, meaning your photos, videos, in a permanent storage that you own for your lifetime plus 100 years. We do digitizing, so we take your old VHS and media and we turn it into a digital platform. We do printing. So that's the chair that I hold in BNI, and I'm super passionate about the work that I'm doing and the teaching that I'm able to do, because most people think their videos are safe or their photos are safe, but they're really not.
Yeah, I'm an insurance agent, and I've seen a lot of different things. Those fires can really be brutal from an emotional standpoint, and you losing all of that information, things like family pictures and heirlooms and things of that nature. So I certainly understand that. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for being with us. Certainly, like I said, if you're a BNI member and you haven't taken the opportunity to participate in that speed networking that happens every Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning, please do so. Take a look. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. And I look forward to seeing you again, Shannon, on Tuesday at 11, okay?
Yes.
Take care and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, we'll be right back. I'm sorry?
Nope, we're good.
All right, and we'll be right back with our last guest, sort of a little PSA, public service announcement segment that we're going to have here with the local police department. Stick with us and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sandra Mendez-Hassan, Executive Business Advisor, Key Business Strategist, and Management Specialist with Extraordinary HCBI. I work with business owners and executives to help them achieve their goals, implementing the right strategy, and developing leaders that turn their dreams into reality. Do you have a business idea and need to know how to launch it? Based on your vision, do you have the criteria or entrepreneurial mindset to achieve your goals? Do you have what it takes to motivate your team so they can be more proactive and productive? Would you like to learn how to get more clients and close more businesses? At Extraordinary HCBI, we take businesses to the next level by providing them with resources, counseling, and implementing strategies that work because we want your business to thrive. We also assist businesses and aspiring entrepreneurs on the initial steps of their business plan development, creating financial projections and guiding them on how to create a financial package that will work for their business. Because your success is our success, take a decisive step today and call me at 832-660-4291 and let Extraordinary HCBI turn your dreams into reality.
I'm here to take you to a new frontier, the final frontier. In fact, you and I are going where no one has gone before. I'm Glenn Henderson, entrepreneur, success coach, and musician, and I want to personally invite you to take this journey with me in the pages of my best-selling new book, All I Need to Know About Success I Learned from Star Trek. We'll travel aboard the USS Enterprise along with Captain James T. Kirk, Spock, and the finest crew in Starfleet. And we'll learn together about success principles like how to work with a team and accomplish your goals, when to fight for what you believe, and when not to, and what your business really is, no matter what you do for a living. Beam aboard with me. My mission is your success. And I'll see you on the bridge. Live long and prosper.
All right, welcome back. Once again, we're live here from the NowMedia studios in West Chase, Houston. You're on with the BNI Now show. And as the last segment, we have something a little bit different, something a little bit out of the ordinary for what we normally do. We have the pleasure of being joined here by a local police officer, Officer Jesus Robles. Do you hear me, Officer Robles?
Yes, Mr. Albert Tudela, this is, yes, I can hear you clearly. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Hopefully we'll only meet on Zoom like this, and I'll never have to meet you out on the street, first of all.
Well, you know how it is. Just, just drive safe, and you should be okay. You should don't speed, all right? No drinking and driving, of course.
Absolutely, okay. No doubt. I always try to stay on the straight and narrow. And so, this is a sort of a unique thing for us. So, I understand that you've been doing some work with NowMedia recently. I understand that you guys have a new program that's also done here at the production studios of NowMedia, and that it's basically centered on community outreach from the police department to obviously the community that you help police. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. Absolutely. Under the leadership of former Chief Art Acevedo, we've embarked in this journey with NowMedia, doing a program called Community Shield. And what is a shield for? To shield ourselves from crime, right? We want to empower the community and offer the information that they need so that they may become participants of crime prevention. And now, under the leadership of our brand new chief, of course, he's always been an executive assistant chief with the Houston Police Department, and has been a police officer for over 31 years. Chief Troy Finner is now heading our department, and of course, he continues with the same vision of putting the information out. Now, he's got our former chief said relational policing, right, which is making community policing greater to the next level. Community policing was the exterior, how just going out and just doing community things. But now with the relational policing, we went a little bit deeper. We go into the relationships of individuals. We go into people, who you are, where do you live, how can I help you, how can we best serve each other. So it's relational policing. But now also our chief, Troy Finner, augments it even more. We want to build bridges. He always talks about building bridges with the community. The trust has been hurt in the last couple of years with the different incidents that have been occurring around the city. But under the new leadership, he wants us to bridge, make bridges, and connect with people in a deeper level. So, and of course, he's always emphasizing on leaving out the negativity, pushing out the negativity, and going into the positive things that the Houston Police Department is doing, and of course all the agencies that are doing around them. There's more things that are good that are happening in the city than anything else. We have thousands and thousands of encounters a day with citizens in the city of Houston, and of course millions in the whole country. And sadly, the only thing that really comes out is when something goes wrong. So let's just keep the message. Let's be positive. Let's continue to journey together. This is a journey, and of course, we need the public to be the force multiplier. Right? We can't do anything. We cannot do anything holistically if we don't have the participation of the people, of the community leaders, of the community stakeholders, of citizens. We need you. And of course, we have a community pit meeting that occurs every other month with the city of Houston. And of course, right now with the COVID and social distancing, we are putting this out on social media, in our social media platforms, and it happens every odd month of the year. This year, this month of May, the second Tuesday of this month, Officer James Sabata, which has been leading this PIP meeting, community meeting, is planning on bringing very interesting topics, of course, that have to do with business. Okay, that have to do with crime prevention, and of course, we talk about stats and all kinds of good stuff.
Well, that's a lot. That's quite a lot to unpack. I mean, I love the fact that we're sort of going back to basics. I'm not a youngster anymore. I remember back when there was a beat cops. They'd have a neighborhood, and everybody knew who that person was, and they would have a relationship with the individuals in the neighborhood, and they'd get to know everybody, and that's one of the ways that they would really understand how they could help the community and prevent crime and things from happening. There was a level of trust there and of closeness that I think that now the HPD is trying to get back to. So I commend you on all that. It sounds like a fantastic plan. What can the community do, to try to make our police department more effective? So me as a citizen, my thought is I want the police to be empowered. I want the police to have as everything they need in order to do their job, because at the end of the day, when the police does their job, it makes everybody safer, and it creates a much better environment for everyone around us. So what can I do as a citizen? What can everybody do as a citizen to help the police department make sure that you're doing the best job you can with the information you're provided?
That's right, and sometimes we really have to remember that the civilians, the citizens out there, they have their own jobs, they have their own responsibilities, they have their own lives going on every day. The dramas of the everydays, right? It's hard to be active in everything. It's hard to be to participate in all these programs that we have, but we do have things out there that we would like for the community to be a participant of. We have excellent things that people can participate. For example, we have the VIP program in the Houston Police Department, which is basically a program where you go through the checks, right? We check you, we make sure that you're clear to be able to volunteer with us in the different programs that we do have. And of course, there's many programs. For example, Citizens on Patrol. Citizens on Patrol, you guys basically become the eyes and ears in your communities and in the businesses that you work in. You really have to be paying attention to what's going on around you.
Right.
And of course, Citizens on Patrol become that force multiplier that we need. that, we can't have officers in every corner all the time, but when people report crime, and of course, we give you the training. If you become part of our Citizens on Patrol, we basically go over the do's and don'ts when you witness a crime. Of course, the best thing you can do when you in case of a crime is be a good witness, not necessarily go hands on. We don't want you to put yourself in harm's way, but we want you to be a good witness. That's how we find suspects. That's how we go back and we review video and cameras, and we're able to locate suspects because we had a good witness that was able to report the incident, and then we're able to do the follow-ups. So that's a good way to support us. Of course, a great way to support us is by participating in our community PIP meetings. We have a large community PIP happening in the West Side, in our West Side Police Station. It's one of the biggest ones. We also have PIPs, community meetings in every single sector of the city of Houston. So we really exhort you to participate in these PIPs. Now, I can give you the community affairs phone number. So if you guys want to call our community affairs office and ask in what district your business is at and where you can go and participate, I can gladly do that. And our phone number, if you guys want to write it down, that way you can call us and we can be more specific of where you're going to go. It's 713-308-3200, 713-308-3200. Participate in our activities. Get involved with your civic clubs. Okay, your civic clubs need to know that you are there and that you are participating and that you do care about what's going on in your community. Communication is very important.
Absolutely. One last question here. So we're running out of time a little bit. So, of course, this BNI, most of the members in BNI are business owners. What is the police department doing, or what can business owners do as well to try to make sure that our businesses are protected? We see, things that are happening in other cities. Obviously worry about those types of developments happening here in Houston. We've been, fortunate so far, but what about something specific for businesses?
Of course, crime awareness, right? You have to be aware that that you have that you have security cameras in your businesses. There's so many places that we go to where we go and we are reactive to a certain crime, and we expect to find video, and there is nothing to be found. There's nothing that can be followed up on because we don't have these very important pieces to be able to put the crime or put it all together. So I really recommend you to just tighten up on the cameras, tighten up on those security devices, so that we can use that as evidence and we can find the suspect better. Participate in our PIP meetings, and of course, another thing that we discussed here in a program before is our active shooter. There's a lot of concerns about the active shooters that are happening in businesses, that are happening in malls, that are happening in churches. You can learn a lot if you host an active shooter class or a workshop in your own business. All we ask is for you to have a few people to be able to share this information, and we have our expert in active shooter go and give you some real basic tips that can be applied for an active shooter and also can be applied for anything else. So if you have a group of people, of employees and you want to offer this in your business, we have a good person here that teaches a class in active shooter. His name is Stephen Daniel. And of course, you can also reach him through our community affairs line at 713-308.
Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when and where you are watching this show. My name is Rick Gutierrez. I'm a Managing Launch Director for BNI Global, and this is BNI Now, the one and only show dedicated to BNI members. Members get to come on the show